General Motors shutting down their assembly plant in Gunsan would adversely impact the lives of thousands in the region, which is why the Korean government and the head of GM's international operations met to discuss restructuring options. Jeong-yeon gets us up to speed with the developments.
Just last Tuesday, GM Korea announced its plans to shut down its assembly plant in Gunsan, Jeollabuk-do Province before the end of May. This sparked a heated discussion, with voices opposing the idea, saying that it could potentially affect tens of thousands of people, especially in the Gunsan area. Engle, Executive Vice President and President of GM International, is now in South Korea, meeting with South Korean officials to discuss restructuring methods to revive GM Korea. The Detroit-based carmaker proposed investing $2.8 billion over the next decade into its South Korea operations and asked the government to inject funds for investment through the state-run Korea Development Bank, which in turn would invest around $476 million. South Korea's Trade Minister Baek-gyu said on Wednesday that the government has asked for an audit into the automaker's, quote, opaque management, and that a detailed business plan must be devised before any confirmation, as such a large amount of taxpayers' money cannot be spent under vague terms.
The key point is not the amount of money. The key point is competitiveness of GM Korea. The government has to get the confirmation from GM Korea or GM how to make GM Korea plants in Korea to be competitiveness.
GM's proposal is on top of the already proposed $2.2 billion debt for equity swap to get financial support and tax benefits from Seoul. They've also proposed launching 2 new models produced in Korea and maintaining production of 500,000 units annually. However, experts say this won't be easy.
Understanding the number of units, that GM Korea has been selling, either domestic or global market, because 80% of the products in GM Korea is to be exported. So, just looking at the trends of GM Korea's auto sales, sustaining 500,000 units of production in local markets, it's going to be very difficult.
The expert adds that further restructuring could be possible in the remaining 3 plants in South Korea for the car maker to maintain such production. An agreement between the government and the automaker is expected to be made within the next month. Jeong-yeon, Arirang News.